Superb. So well, we are live. Hello दोस्तों, welcome to AWS Solutions Architect Associate. This is AWS Zero to Hero course focused on AWS Solutions Architect Associate, and we have a very special person to teach us. Let me introduce Gangadhar Hure himself, and he is the lead trainer of this course. He is AWS certified, he is CK certified, he has over 12 years of experience, and with all this production experience, with all this amazing experience, I hand over this stage to him. Gangadhar, the stage is all yours. The course is now officially started, and if you are able to hear us, if you are able to see us, drop a boom in the chat, because I'm so happy to see you all here. We have more than 100 people watching us live. This is crazy. More than 100 people watching us live, and I have a special surprise as well, which I will be sharing after 1 hour. So stay tuned. After 1 hour, there will be a special surprise for you all. And first of all, welcome everyone to AWS Zero to Hero Solutions Architect. This is the most in demand course. Gangadhar, this course has been such a demand course. I'll just tell you. Since when are you all waiting for this course? Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat since when you are waiting from this course. Let's see. January. Day 1. January. Last March. Okay. Okay. So Gangadhar, the stage is all yours.
Awesome.
Yeah, the stage is all yours. Do you want me to stop sharing so that you can take over the screen?
Yep. I'll start sharing my screen.
Superb, superb. I'll just stop sharing. Amazing,
Perfect.
amazing. Superb.
All right. Let me start my screen and then we'll begin. Perfect. Just drop a message if you are able to see my screen. You can type yes if you are able to see my screen. Then I can start. Okay. Perfect. I can see so many messages that means everyone is able to see my screen. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Shubham bhai. And then we'll start. And let me share my screen. Perfect. Hello, everyone. And my name is Gangadhar Ure as a cloud Adar. And I have 12 plus years of experience in cloud and DevOps. I have designed many applications from end to end from scratch. I have designed like microservice based architecture, monolithic based architecture, event driven based, and serverless architecture as well. So you will get a lot of learning from me in next 10 weeks. So let's begin our official AWS Zero to Hero Solution Architect course. Perfect. So this course is basically focused on SAC03, which is Solution Architect Associate. So once this course will be done, then you can attend the exam, like which is C03. This is totally focused on C03. Yeah. So if I want to start AWS learning from the scratch, if I would start it beginning from the beginning. So what do you think, guys? From where do you start? If you can just type a message like from where do you start? From reading the documents, from learning, from seeing the checking the YouTube videos, or from the practical. Just drop a message. Maybe I will not see your message, but at the end of the video, I'll see your all the messages. Yeah. So this is my experience. Shubham bhai, just let me know so people are typing or not. Then I'll get the motivation. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So based on my 12 plus years of experience, which is enterprise architect plus DevOps, DevSecOps, and the platform engineering as well. So if I would have to start AWS from beginning and how I have started, I'll explain you. So let's say if I have to start learning AWS or any cloud, if I have to enter into the cloud and DevOps journey. So first I'll do a research in the market, which cloud is better, which cloud has the most services, and which is trending cloud in the market. So I'll compare two, three, or four, whatever the available clouds in the market, and based on the findings, I will choose the cloud, which cloud I have to start. So even though I have started AWS because that time AWS was trending in the market, and then based on the findings I will start the cloud, and then I will learn the fundamental of the cloud. Before choosing the cloud, I will learn the fundamental of the cloud. So what is cloud, why do we need to use cloud, what is the use of cloud, what is the benefit, what is the disadvantages of the cloud. So I will do a lot of research on the cloud, and then I would choose the decision whether it will be useful for me, whether there is a future on future if I choose the cloud. Then I decided, first I learn the fundamental of the cloud, and then based on the fundamental and based on the finding, I will choose the which cloud I have to learn. So then I will create the accounts. First I'll do some kind of POCs on different clouds, and I will choose I will decide, like based on the uh, proof of concept, which cloud UI is good, which is user friendly, which is cheapest, and who will give me the free resources for my learning. So based on that I will choose to learn the cloud. Yeah, and then I will create the accounts and security foundations. Security foundations means if I have to start, or if I have to host my application, or if I have to learn the cloud, then what are the security measures means I have to think in my mind. So how I can secure my servers, how I can secure my account, how I can secure my passwords, keys, and how I can protect my data. So based on I will note down all the points, and based on that, from day one, I will start doing the practical. Why practical? Because whatever you can read many books, you can read any documents, you can read all the AWS document, but you cannot understand core services. uh, how many of you know AWS basic, or how many of you are just starting from today? Just drop me a message that if you are a fresher, or if you know the service name, then I'll proceed to why do we need a practical from day one. Oh, great, great, great. Great. So if you guys are starting from today only, then if you can read so many things, if you can read full day, then you can just read, you can just keep in mind your theoretical part, but you don't know how the services are work together. Let's say if I have to launch one virtual machine, which is EC2 instance. If you read that document, this is the EC2 instance and this will be launched like this, you can go to the console and you can select the servers, and this you can launch the EC2 instance, but you cannot get that feel while reading. When you create an account, then you can learn many things. Maybe while creating AWS account, you may face some issues, you may face some authentication issue, you may face some credit card or debit card issue. And then when you try to launch an EC2 instance, you get so many options, which OS you need to select, which VPC you need to select, whether we need to create a key pair, or whether we need to use IAM. So we will see all the services in upcoming lectures, but upcoming class. But this needs to think, and this you will get to learn when you start practical from day one. Say, let's say you have read all the documents, but you don't understand anything. When you create AWS account, then you learn so many things. So that's how I should learn from day one. And let's say if I have to start from scratch, then I don't think like I have to just launch an EC2 instance. I will think like a real architecture. Let's say I'll think like I have to deploy one application on cloud. So what are the services required, how the user can be accessed my application. Let's say for deploying one application to the for the public facing, what are the things required. I'll think according to that. I'll think as per the end user. how I have to access my application through the domain name. Let's say I need a cloud.com. So first I'll think how the user should reach, and from cloud.com, where should the request go, and from there where my application should be launched. So I will think like an architect, not like the EC2 instance. I have to just deploy an EC2, launch an EC2 instance, and have to deploy an application. Rather than I will think at the end user mindset or architect mindset. So then only I will learn the AWS properly. So this is how we will learn. We will think like an architecture mindset. We will have a quiz in between the class and after the class as well. So and the real architecture mindset you'll help to crack the AWS exam. If you learn only theoretical, or if you learn the random services, then you cannot learn properly, or it will be difficult to crack the exam, because AWS certification exam are totally based on the architecture mindset and the six pillar of the AWS. So that we will see it in some time. But you have to think like an architect. Yeah, this is how I should start. And then let's say after learning or after doing the hands on, I will prepare for certification. Because when I do practical labs and think like a broader mindset, then only I can crack the exam. And I will do small projects as well. I'll deploy one VPC, I'll deploy one application, and I'll create some Kubernetes cluster. Or I will think like how we can use this other services, so how I can integrate these other services to the my application. So that's how I can learn the services. And yeah, that's it. It is clear, guys. Just put the message clear, though then I can we can move to the next slide. Shubham bhai, just confirm like whether oh, sorry, I forgot. Right. Great, thanks. Okay. Perfect. Exactly. Yeah. And one more thing, Shubham bhai. So we have so many learners from all around the world. I saw there were a few learners from UK and US as well. Yep, great. Let's move on to the next slide. Yeah, so this is based on the last slide only. So if I have to start AWS from the scratch, do I need to learn 200 plus services from the first? What do you guys think? Do you need to learn all the 200 services, 200 plus services from the first day, or from the basic? Okay, okay. Okay, great, great. Exactly, exactly. So yeah, so basically we don't need to learn all the services from the first day. We need to understand the fundamental that I spoke. That fundamental is most important. If your fundamental or if your base is strong, then you can learn as many as services, whatever the services available in the AWS. But if your base or fundamental is not clear, then you cannot understand the services. So you have to understand or you have to learn the core services like VPC, IAM user, IAM policies, roles, and EC2, S3 database, and then billing, and then monitoring. So these are the core services which you have to learn at the first. And in every companies or architecture, so basically let's say if I have to deploy an three-tier application, so basically I need the most core services like VPC, servers, load balancing, auto scaling to maintain high availability. So these are the core services first, which we have to focus. And after 1 year or 2 years, or whenever you are expert in these core services, then you can think, or automatically you get to know where these service will fit in my architecture. But you have to think again. You have to think like an architect. Then only you can utilize the other services. Let's say we have like directory services, we have like lambda functions, we have so many other services like nowadays the bedrock and AI related services also. But if you first, if you focus on the fundamental, then only you can think utilizing advanced or core other services in your application. Yeah, is it clear to you guys? Just drop a message clear if you are clear. So we will see like what are the actual services we need to learn. And next slide maybe. Can we move to next slide? Great, great, great. So as I said that if I have to learn AWS or any cloud from scratch, I would do a research, and then I would strong my foundation is a fundamental. And in the cloud computing, there are three services like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So any cloud provider provide these three services. So let's understand what are these services and what is cloud computing. So basically, cloud computing is that we don't need to buy a hardware, we don't need to set up a data center, we don't need to purchase databases, or we don't need to maintain that hardware in our premises. Earlier, what companies used to do when I was in IBM, I went to the data center. There were huge rack, and they they need to maintain these data centers. So the temperature was like minus 20, 30 to maintain these data centers, and then hardwares, and they need to maintain the networking devices. They need to replace the devices whenever there is an issue, and they have to do a lot of updating, patching, and every weekend they used to do a lot of patching and maintenance of their hardware and then devices. But if we choose the cloud, then we don't need to maintain the hardware. We just need to simply use the services, and we can provide provision the network, we can provision the databases, we can deploy the servers. So and these services are pay as you go, so we don't need to give extra money. Whatever we use for only that time, for during that time only, we have to pay the amount to the cloud provider. But in the earlier days, we have to purchase the hardware at the first time, so there was a huge cost was there. And other than this, there should be a separate team to maintain all the infrastructure. But in cloud computing era, we don't need a separate team, we just need to launch the server. But let's say in earlier days, if I have to launch one application and I purchased a lower environment, lower configuration server, but if I have to upgrade, my user base is increased and I have to upgrade this server, then I have to destroy the server hardware, and then I have to buy new server. So there will be there used to a high cost a high cost was involved. But nowadays, if I am using this T2 medium server and my user base is increased, then what I can do is I can simply increase the server types, or I can increase the server types. Yeah, the memory and whatever as per the requirement, I can increase the size of this EC2 instance. So that is how it easy to use the cloud. Is it clear, guys? Just drop a message clear, then we can proceed. What is IIS, PAS, and the SAS? Is it clear, Shubham bhai? Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, I have. Let me give me a second. I'll start my second screen. I, okay, yeah, yeah. One second. Let me stop the share presentation. Yeah, great. All right. Okay. Yeah, there are mixed feedback. Okay. Let's quick we'll have a revise. So the cloud computing is basically we don't need to buy a hardware, we don't need to maintain that hardware, and then we can use as a pay as a go. So let's say if I have to deploy my application, I don't need to go to the market, I don't need to choose the hardware. Instead of that, I can just simply create AWS account, and I can create the virtual machine. So that is how it is used. That is the cloud computing. Okay, Shubham bhai, I think there is a mismatch in the volume, or there is a feedback that audio and video is missing. Uh, okay, 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 great, great. So let's jump on to the infrastructure as a service. So what is infrastructure as a service? Anyone knows? Like you can simply put any of the service name. Okay, everyone is seeing my presentation and everyone is entering the EC2 instance. Okay, okay. The infrastructure service is not only EC2 instance, but there are a lot of other services as well. So, what is infrastructure as a service? So, any cloud provider will give a infrastructure to us. Let's say we'll pick the EC2 instance. So with the EC2 instance, we'll get a lot of customization options. So if we have to launch an EC2 instance, we can select so many options. Which image we have to select. Let's say there are various images available, like Amazon Image, Linux, Ubuntu, and then there are various images available. So from that, we will get a lot of customization in the infrastructure as a service, and then we can customize as according to our usage. So that means infrastructure as a service. Any cloud provider, they just provide the infrastructure, and we can customize on top of that. And platform as a service is the infrastructure as a service. Clear, guys? So we'll get a lot of customization. Okay, great, great. And the platform as a service is any cloud provider will provide the platform. We don't need to maintain the hardware. We don't need to customize this service. We just simply run our application. Let's say Lambda is one of the famous platform as a service. We don't need to launch an kind of EC2 instance. We just simply click on the Lambda function, and we can put our code and we can run the Lambda function. That is platform as a service. We don't need to maintain the Lambda functions like EC2 instance. We have to do a patching, and we have to secure the EC2 instance. We have to add the security groups, and we have to maintain this infrastructure. But in the platform as a service, we don't need to maintain, we don't need to patch, we don't need to update. Simply we put our code and run the Lambda function. So this is as a platform as a service. Is it clear, guys? Okay, great. I can see there are a lot of messages. Yes, perfect. And now we can move on to the SaaS, software as a service. Anyone knows what is software as a service? We daily use so many applications. Great. I can see Gmail, SAP. Perfect. So Gmail is one of the most used SaaS platform, but in cloud and DevOps, we use so many SaaS applications like Grafana Cloud is a SaaS. We use Jira as a Jira Cloud is a SaaS. We use what I can say GitHub Copilot or GitHub or GitLab Cloud. These are the SaaS products. So what does this mean by SaaS? So in the SaaS, we don't need to provision infrastructure. We don't need to deploy an application. We don't need to maintain that application as well. So everything will be taken care by the SaaS provider. Let's say if we are providing any SaaS application, then we have to maintain all the infrastructure, deployment, patching, and everything. But as to the end user, they don't need to maintain, they don't need to think how the services are working and how the application are working. They simply use that application. Let's say log into the application, send an email from the Gmail, send an email, and read the emails, and in the drive they store the documents. So as simple as this. So the SaaS is clear, guys. Okay, great. Shivam bhai, clear? Ye- Yep, yep, perfect. We'll launch a Lambda function. We'll run the Lambda function, and we'll see the how the pricing for the Lambda function. So yeah, we will see in the detail when we move on to that topic. Yep. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so based on my findings, why should we choose AWS? Why should not choose other cloud? Any comments, guys? What do you think? Why should we choose AWS? Okay, great. Since when I started AWS, since that time, AWS is the leader in the market. I started my cloud journey in 2015. Since that time, AWS is leader in the market. Okay. Great. So AWS is one of the leading cloud provider. AWS has worldwide network. They have huge network, and they maintain what I can say. They have I think 153 or 139 availability zone. Regions. No, I think they have 39 regions and 153 availability zone. We will see it in the sometimes, and they provide more than 200 fully featured services, and it is mostly widely trusted cloud provider. So on AWS cloud, there is startup, enterprise application, enterprise companies, and even government also use the AWS cloud. So that's why we choose AWS, because and AWS has very user friendly. They have various services. They have they provide uh, security, availability, and then what I can say. This is trusted by millions of the customer, as I said, that government use, and then enterprise companies use, and the startup also. So AWS provide the funding to the startup as well. They provide some credits to start their cloud journey. Yeah, so you will also, whenever if you are starting first time, then you'll also get, I think, $200 to learn the AWS cloud. Yeah, so that's why I choose AWS. There are other cloud also available, but AWS is very user friendly. You can start quickly, and the UI, and then they provide so many services. Is it clear, guys? Any doubts? Why should we choose AWS? So, so most important is AWS is the leader, and AWS is widely used cloud. Okay, great, great. I can see no doubt. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. Can we move on to the next slide? Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so let's see what are the AWS core services which we need to learn at the first time. As I said, if I have to start cloud from the scratch, then these are the core services which we need to focus first. And these all are services completely focused on AWS Solution Architect Associate certificate. So all the services which we will cover and which we have to learn, this is totally focused on our AWS Solution Architect Associate C03 certification. Yeah, so these are the core services we will see one by one. So most important is compute. In the compute, why do we need a compute? Anything, any guess, guys? Why do we need a compute? I think who knows basic cloud or who knows the cloud, they can. Okay, great. I can see one good reply. Deploy an application. EC2 instance is a server, but to deploy our application, we need a server. So that's why we can choose the EC2 instance. Perfect, perfect. And similarly, that we have a Lambda function as a compute service, though it is a serverless. We will see in the next lecturers, like what is the serverless and what is the EC2 instance, or what is the servers. Yeah, so in okay, I can see so many replies. I think, yeah, in compute we have this EC2, and in the EC2 instance also I can choose as per my requirement. And instead of choosing a random EC2 instance type or size, I can choose as per the requirement or as per the usage. If my user base is like there are like 1,000 users is trying to will use my application, for that I can choose the how many memory I required, how many CPU I required, and how many storage which I required. So based on the requirement only I can choose, instead of choosing the random EC2 instance type. Yeah, so we can choose the EC2 instance and Lambda for compute and storage. Why do we need a storage, guys? Any idea? Perfect, perfect. Shubham, I think, yeah, many learners know basic stuff, but yeah, this course is from zero to hero. So we have to cover to everyone, and we have to teach everyone what is storage, what is compute, and what are the core services. Great, great. I can see there are so many learners already know what is the storage and what is the compute. Okay, perfect, perfect. So basically, storage is used to store our data, objects, logs. Why do we need to store the objects, logs, and then files? Why we should not store onto the EC2 instance and EBS volume? Okay, okay, great. There are other option also available as a storage, like EFS volume. Also, we have like. Okay, okay, I can see the security is one of the reason. Okay, so basically, S3 is very cheaper service, very cheapest, is better than, I mean, rather than EBS volume. And in S3 we can enable the versioning also for our objects. So we have to choose the storage as per our requirement. Let's say if I have to store some kind of data in my EC2 instance, then rather than S3 I should choose EBS volume. If I have to store my libraries, or if I have to store my application data, For that kind of purpose, I can choose the EBS volume. So we'll see the EBS volume, all the core services in the future classes. But as of now, we'll just keep in your mind what are the core services. We'll see all the questions. We will see it in the upcoming lectures. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah. And okay. Is the storage clear, guys? So S3 is very cheaper, and we can maintain the versioning, and we can store. Okay. When we create the S3 bucket, we will get the until I think 5 TB storage at the first time. But in EBS volume, is it will be like very costly if you have to if you have to purchase the for 5 TB EBS volume. Yeah, so we will see like when we choose which storage. So that we will see in upcoming classes. But as of now, you can just keep in your mind storage means like S3, EBS volume, EFS volume. Perfect, perfect. Okay, and now we'll see what is the database. So database is like AWS provide the lot of database options. Like they provide RDS, DynamoDB. In the RDS also AWS provide MySQL, Postgres, Aurora, and then I think NoSQL as well. DynamoDB is a NoSQL database, and this is a purely managed service by AWS. So we don't need to create the database when we have to use the DynamoDB. So we have to choose according to our use when we choose RDS or when we choose the DynamoDB. So we will see this in the future lectures. Yeah. So perfect. So database is clear, guys. So in the database, you can just keep in your mind, database means like Postgres, MongoDB, DynamoDB, and MySQL and Aurora. That we will see which database will fit and when we can use which database according to our use case or according to the application use. Perfect, perfect. I can see so many replies. Yeah, great, great. Okay, and now okay, we don't need to learn the databases like Postgres, MySQL, or Aurora, but yeah, we need to know what is the RDS and what are the use of databases. Based SQL flow, yeah, there will be like many questions on the databases in which scenario we need to choose which database. So even I got a lot of questions around the databases. So we have to focus on the RDS. I would say rather than learning all the databases, we will focus on what are the exam focused RDSs. Like mostly exam question will come on the Aurora DB and DynamoDB. So we'll focus those databases. Perfect, perfect. And let's move on to the next core service, which is networking. So networking is very important whenever you have to design any architecture or whenever you have to deploy any application. First important service is networking. Whenever you have to design any application, you have to keep in mind the most important service is networking. You have to think about like an architect mindset, how my network should be look like, where should be what do you say, how many private subnets, how many public subnets do I need it, and then what are the other components, like whether do I need an ad gateway, or whether do I need a VPC peering, whether do I need a gateway. So these are the components which will come under the networking, and we will see all the services which will come under AWS Associate Architect exam focus. There are a lot of other networking services, but we will mostly focus on VPC and Route 53 because only these two services will come under the AWS C03 network, C03 exam. Yep, and the Route 53 is used for domain name. So let's say we have this GoDaddy. So similar in AWS, we have a Route 53. Whenever we have to purchase any domain, instead of purchasing through the GoDaddy, so most company will purchase it or create it into the route 53. And in the route 53 there will be a lot of options, like based on the need, we have to choose the routing policies, and we will see in the future classes what are the routing policies and what is the route 53 in the detail. But as of now, you can just keep in your mind the networking is VPC and route 53. Is it clear, guys? Perfect. Shubham bhai, any feedback, or are we going good? I need your motivation as well. Okay. Okay. Exactly. So instead of directly creating AWS account and launching an EC2 instance, first we need to understand what are the core services. Why should we launch EC2 instance? Why should not launch other services? So first we should learn what are the core services and where it should fit. We have to think like every time. We have to think like an architect, not like as a learner. I should learn random services, but instead of that, we should think like an architect. So then only you should understand all the services, and you can think like which service will fit where in your application, where networking fit, where database fit, where do you need to use the storage, and which type of storage you require. So that keep in mind that mindset, and then only you can build an architect, because AWS architect associate is the first step. Then there is a professional, there is a security. If you have to build your career as an architect, technical architect, then you should know all the core services in detail. Then you can learn automatically other services, but these are the core services first. Mhm. Yes. Okay. Great. So since last three four companies, I'm an architect. So let's say I'll explain one of the company. When I was in Volkswagen, there I was a platform engineering architect. So I have designed so many applications. I have deployed applications in China region. So we were using AWS, and there is a requirement from the business that we have to deploy all the DevOps related application in the China region. So there will be there was a GitLab, Confluence, Jira, and other than this, Artifactory. So I have deployed all. I have designed. I have coordinated with the service vendors, with the GitLab team, with the Artifactory team, and I have coordinated with the AWS team to provision the infrastructure, provision the deploy the application in the China region. So I first what I started is we have to deploy an application in the China region. So whether in China region, where will be my user base? Let's say my user base is in Shanghai. So then I can choose the Shanghai region instead of any other region. I should choose the closer region to the user base. Then I will get my services will be faster to the end user. So every time we have to think as a architect plus the end user. I have to design an application, but how the end user will access this application? Let's say if you are accessing any application, let's say if you are accessing Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram, if the application is slower, how do you think? So you have to keep in your mind the application should be highly available to the user. and based on that you have to design your application. So based according to user base, you have to choose the region. And when let's say if I have choose the region, then what are the services, what are the architect type, whether it should be a 2 tier or 3 tier architect. We have a database, whether we have a database, whether we have a front end, or we have a lot of APIs. So these many things we have to think in our mind, and according to that we have to design a VPC, how my VPC should look like, how many load balancer I needed, how many Bayesian servers I need to access the AWS servers from my private subnet. And other than this, some where will be my databases, and do I need a high availability for my databases, multi-AZ databases, or how many servers I required, or how many users will access my application in day to day, and when there will be a spike onto the application. So these are the things we have to keep in mind, and we have to design an application. Let's say first is like do we need a route 53 to create our DNS, and then the load balancer, and how the request flow will come. That picture we have to keep in our mind. Let's say I'm trying to access clouder.com. So first my request will go to the DNS, and then it will go to the routing table, and then it will go to the load balancer. In between that we should implement the other service like CloudFront and all. So that we will see it in later, but we have to think like that. Whether do I need a CloudFront, or do I need an aging service, or other than this, how many servers I required, and where will be host, where should I host my front end and then back end, and do I need a separate subnet for my RDS. So these are the things, and other than this we have to think as a like cost. What will be the cost for this infrastructure? I will compare two region. Let's say in my user base is in Shanghai region, and if the Shanghai region is very costly, then I will check other available options also. So these this cost also we have to keep in our mind. And the most important point is like monitoring also. How we should monitor our application, what are the services we can use, whether we can use the inbuilt services like CloudWatch, or we can create the dashboards in CloudWatch, or we can use other services. We can use Grafana Cloud, and we can deploy we can install the plugins onto the EC2 instances and the servers. So these also we have to think. If my company is already having the Grafana Cloud, then rather than investing so much my the time on configuring the CloudWatch, I will simply configure the basic CloudWatch, and I will deploy the Grafana agents to fetch the logs. So these are the things we have to keep in mind, like what are the existing licenses which we have, and what do we need, because we have to save the cost also. We have to secure our application, how our application should be secure. Do we need to use the WAF? Let's say I was deploying the application in China region, so we were using the WAF to secure our application. So whenever any user trying to attack for our application, so in the WAF it will automatically block those IPs. So these are the services which we have to keep in our mind, or we have to think broader way. Other than this, what are the server types which we required, whether we can host our application on Kubernetes, or whether we can host our application on EC2 instance. So these things also we have to think. Let's say if I have to deploy a GitLab, so whether GitLab supports a Kubernetes, or GitLab supports only EC2 instance. When we were deploying the GitLab on in the China region, that time GitLab were not supporting the EKS, so then we choose the EC2 instance. Then we have coordinated with the GitLab team. What are the what infrastructure you guys suggest? So similarly, for the internal application, we used to get the requirement from the internal development team also. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear, Shubhamai? So every time we have to think like that. Okay, perfect. So see, all of the points we have already covered here. So how my data should be secure, we have to use the KMS. How my application should be secure, how my AWS should be secure, we can use the IAM. And monitoring also we have covered, CloudWatch, and the cost also. So yeah, these are the core services we have to keep in our mind while we are we are designing any architecture. Perfect. Now, what is the benefit of AWS cloud? Perfect, perfect. So the main benefits are six, or maybe there are others also, but I have used most benefits. So AWS is very easy to use. UI is very friendly. You can configure the CLI very quickly. You can configure many accounts. You can configure so many accounts on UI as well, and it will be like it is a very user friendly. You can use the Amazon control tower to manage various accounts. That we will see it in later. But yeah, so there will be you will get a lot of customizations, and it is very easy to configure, customize, and use as well, and it is very flexible. AWS will give a lot of customization options, so yeah, it is flexible and cost effective also. So what is cost effective? So you can choose minimum to minimum instance, like T2, micro, nano, or mm, medium as well. So based on your utilization, or based on your use case, you can choose the service. Rather than picking up from T2 large or extra large, you can choose the medium, micro, or whatever as per your requirement. So similarly, you can choose any services based on the your requirement. So that flexible, that cost optimization options or cost effective options, we will get it in the AWS. And reliable. So AWS is very reliable. So they provide a lot of what I say reliability, though they have a lot of availability zones, regions. So based on the customer requirement, let's say if I have to deploy my application, or if my customer user base is from the US, rather than deploying my application in APAC region, I should deploy my application in the US region. And I can choose the services. So my user will be access my application with the very quickly. And yeah, so it's very scalable and high performance. Scalable is like whenever my user base will be increased, let's say now 1,000 users is accessing, and in future there will be a 2,000 users, so I can very quickly scale my infrastructure. Right now, like say I have only one EC2 instance, I can increase it to two instance, or based on the according to my requirement. Very quickly I can increase or scale up and scale down. So this is very quick, we can do it. And then it is very high performance as well. uh, yeah, and it is secure also. So secure means like AWS will secure the cloud infrastructure, but we have to secure our data, we have to secure our accesses, we have to secure our applications. So it is kind of shared responsibility, that we will see it in the next upcoming slide. So but AWS is like a shared responsibility. We have to secure our data, and AWS will secure the infrastructure. Is it clear, guys? Perfect, perfect. All right, let's move on to the next slide. So these are the benefits we will see in each and every class. We will discuss why it is easy to use, why it is flexible, why it is cost effective, why it is reliable, scalable, and high performance, and why it is secure. So in each and every demo we will see, and I'll explain like why it is easy, and all the explanation I will give it to you. So as the first day, so I don't want to put all the burdens or all the complications on you, so that's why we will just see the basic stuff. And the AWS global infrastructure that I was talking, AWS has like 39 region across the global. That means like how we have like Mumbai region, Ireland, Germany, we have like Stockholm, we have so many region in US, and then Australia, and uh, in APAC we have like in India, Australia, and Japan. Similarly, in US also they have in California, and so they call like US East one, West one. So there's a naming convention. Yeah, Oregon. And so these are the regions. That means why do we need a region? I which I have explained. Let's say my if I have to deploy my application into the closer to the user, so that time I have to choose the region. Perfect, perfect. So AWS has 39 regions, and AWS has like 123 availability zones for fault tolerations. Any idea, guys, why do we need availability zones? Okay, perfect, perfect. To maintain a high availability for my application, as I said that while deploying the GitLab in China region, so we let's say my application, how my application utilization, how the usage of my application, how critical my application is. So for that, do I need a high availability for my application? Whether my application needs to be available at 24/7. So in that case, we have to choose the availability zone. So in each region, AWS provides the multiple availability zone. Let's say in Mumbai, we have I think minimum three availability zone AWS provide in each and every region. Uh, so we have like in APAC we have APAC 1A, 1B, and 1C. So the name is, I think one is in Nasik and one is in Mumbai. Yeah, maximum 6 AZ, but minimum should be 3 AZ, and that we required like to maintain high availability. To maintain an high availability, we need at least two availability zone. That means, let's say if my one availability zone goes down, then my load balancer automatically redirect the traffic from fault zone to the healthy zone. So I don't need to manually switch the traffic. Load balancer will take care based on the health check of my application or the servers. So if I have to maintain high available for my if I have to highly available my application, in that case I have to choose the multiple availability zone. Okay, okay, great, guys. Yeah, is it clear what is availability zone? Okay, 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 perfect, perfect. And the number three is like AWS has 750 cloud front plus 15 regional edge caches, regional cache. So what is cloud front? So basically, CloudFront is used for caching purpose. Let's say my user base, again, my user base is accessing my application from a pack region, and my user is accessing the application from Chennai. And so the user is facing slightly delay in accessing the content. So what I can use is CloudFront. So CloudFront will be like aging locations. Let's say in APAC, I have multiple caching locations. Let's say I have one caching location in Chennai. So rather than depending on the region, I will choose the uh, nearest CloudFront location to the user base. Yeah, so that is the main purpose of CloudFront. So we will try to configure the CloudFront in upcoming classes. Yeah, the CDN is like a standard, but I have explained like what I have used, and it is in a simple language. So it is used for content delivery network. So that means, let's say if user is frequently trying to access few images from one of my application, so that what the CloudFront will do is this will CloudFront will store the frequent access images to the CloudFront location. So that means user can quickly access these images whenever they require. So that is the use of CloudFront. Is it clear, guys, now? Perfect, perfect. Yeah, so this AWS provide the 45 local zones and 33 wavelength zones for low latency application. That means users should not face any kind of latency while accessing the application. For that, AWS provide this 45 local zones and 33 wavelength. That we will see it in the actual demo. If I can say anything, I mean, if I can say verbally, then it would be difficult to understand. But if we do a practical, then only you can understand it clearly these services. Is it clear, guys? Perfect. All right. Let's move on to the next slide. Yeah. So I told that securing our application and AWS, we have to maintain the shared responsibility model. So what is shared responsibility model? We'll see. So AWS responsibility is to secure the cloud, not the application or not the EC2 instances, and whatever the customization which we do, that we have to maintain. Not AWS won't manage. Let's say what is AWS managed services? AWS manage our compute, storage, database, and their infrastructure like region, availability zone, networking, and availability zones and edge locations. So we don't need to maintain, or we don't need to what I can say. Okay, so we don't need to take care about the compute service or storage service or database service. So this will be managed by AWS. What we have to do is we have to manage our database data and our applications and patching of our servers or protecting our servers and applications. So for that, AWS gives the services like KMS for KMS used for key management service, so protecting our data, and for managing our for securing our cloud, we have like IAM and access management, identity and access management. We have to configure the identity and access management. We have to give the role based access to the users, and we have to configure the policies, and whatever the access required, only those access we have to give it to the users and the what do you say, to the respective services. And as I said, that we have like configuring the firewalls and WAP, that those we have to configure to protect our data, and then we have to encrypt our data as well. So AWS provide the services like KMS to encrypt our data. So only we have to make sure to our data is protected. We don't need to make sure that whether the available zone is available, or whether the let's say whether the availability zone is zone A is available or not. Instead of that, we have to make sure our data is protected. So AWS will take care to maintain the high availability, or to maintain the availability zone. Is it clear, guys? Okay. Perfect. All right. So as I said that the first one is like AWS responsibility to secure of the cloud, and then a customer responsibility is to secure what is inside the cloud. Let's say our applications, data, and securing our accounts. These we have to manage, and also depends on the service type, whether it should be a infrastructure as a service, or platform as a service, or software as a service. And everything we have to keep in mind that we have to thinking as an architect mindset, how our data should be protected, how we have to do a patching management, how we have to protect our applications or servers or accounts. So these many things we have to think, and we have to configure the application and accounts accordingly. Is it clear, guys? Those things we will see it in while doing the practical, what is shared responsibility, and how we can secure our application, and how AWS make sure that they secure the cloud. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Great. Great. Yep. Perfect. Perfect. Thanks. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay. So rather than starting with account creation, we have first covered the fundamental. Why do we need AWS, and what are the shared responsibilities? What are the availability zone? What is the global AWS infrastructure that we have covered? And then when we understood the fundamental, then now we come to the why do we need a AWS account? Okay, so basically, we need an AWS account to do a lot of practice. If you don't create AWS account, and if you continuously read the books and theoretical and see the lot of videos, until unless you create an AWS account, you cannot start practical. So for that, you need to first create an AWS account. You can watch so many videos, but it would be difficult to understand all the services. For that, you need to first create an AWS account. Once you covered your fundamental, then you can create the AWS account. And to access the free credits and selected free services, it's totally depends. If you already used the your email address, your identity proof for creating the AWS account, then AWS will not give you the free credits. Like first they will give $100, and then after a few months or after a few days they will give the another 15 another $100. So if you are first time learner, or if you are first time creating the AWS account, then only you will get it. Otherwise, you will not get it the free credits. Okay, great. And other than this, we need to build a project and gain practical knowledge and experience on the AWS. Until unless you create the account, you feel and look, get the look, and then you see the console, you create the EC2 instance, you create the VPC. Until that, you will not learn the services. You can just read the services, but until unless you create, you launch the EC2 instance, you launch the other services database, you can instead first you can instead of launching, you should see how the console looks like. What are the options available while launching an VPC, while launching an EC2 instance? What are the options available while launching an RDS? For look and feel, AWS won't charge you. Until unless you click on launch, AWS won't charge you. So you can see like what are the options you have to select while creating an VPC, while creating RDS, creating an EC2 instance. So then only you can learn the AWS. And yeah, for preparation of AWS certification, first you have to understand how the architecture look like. Again, to uh, clearing the AWS certification, definitely you need to think like an architect. If you think like I will learn just EC2 instance, I will just learn databases, so you don't clear the certificate if you just randomly learn the services. You have to learn the services like proper roadmap way. So like how we have covered like what are the core services. So this is how we have to think, and this is how we have to learn if we have to clear the AWS certifications. Great, great. Yeah. So first, we have to launch the services. If you don't get the credits, then instead of directly launching the services, you can go till the end. Like what are the options we have to select, and what are the let's say if I have to launch an EC2 instance. So what are the other supporting services which we have to choose while launching an EC2 instance? So that you get to learn. You don't need to launch an EC2 instance. You can get the feel what are the other services we have to create. So then only you can learn what is EC2 instance, what are the what is the public IP address, what is the IAM role, what is the key pair. So yeah, that's how you can learn. And for that you need a AWS account. Yeah, is it clear, guys? Okay, okay. Perfect, perfect. So if you are first time learner, then definitely you will get the credits. But if you already utilized if you already used your identity proof, then I don't think you will get the credits. So rather than directly launching the services, you can simply see what are the options available and go till the end of launch, and then you will get a feel like what are the options we require to launch any service. Okay, okay, perfect. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, we can take. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll take a water. Yeah, guys. Yeah, let's take a quick 1 minute break. Exactly. Yeah, definitely. First day you will not be an architect, so you have to clear your fundamentals. So building any what do I say, designing any solution, or let's say if I have to build my house, so first my pillars will be very strong, then only I can build my house, right? So first you have to make clear, crystal clear, or first strong your pillars, then only you can build a strong house on that pillars. So rather than directly going an professional level, or what I say, thinking like an architect, first we should clear our fundamental, and then we can move on to the architect level. So though I got usually I get so many messages and calls from where I can start. Should I start with the practitioner or should I start with the architect? So I would suggest, rather than starting practitioner, you can start with the associate, because in a practitioner you will get maximum theoretical and you don't get a lot of practical knowledge with the practitioner. You'll get very basic understanding when AWS launched, what are the AWS service provide, what services AWS provides, and these kind of uh, knowledge you will get it. But if you start with the associate architect, then definitely in the course itself it is an architect. So you have to think like an architect again. So yeah, then only you will learn so many things, so many services, and you can think like. If I have to launch any application, so then you can think like how many what are the services which I required, and in which region I can launch, and what are the how I can secure my application servers. So these are the stuffs you can think whenever you knows the services and whenever you knows the basic fundamentals. If you don't know anything, then you cannot think like an architect. Let's say if you don't know anything, then if I ask you to build an architect, then you cannot design any architect directly, right? So after 6 7 years I started designing the architect, but first 6 years I was just using the services, though I was having the access of the design and all the stuff, but I was not able to design because I was not using all the services. But uh, nowadays if you directly start thinking an architect, then easily or very quickly you can design and deploy the application and design the architect as well. At my time there were very difficult to think like an architect because no one was there to help me. I learned whatever I learned from the Google and AWS official documentation. But if someone is there to help you, how you can start, where you can start, what services you can learn, then definitely you guys can quickly become an architect. Because what solution I have designed, what services I have used, where which service fits, that I can explain you. I have designed so many applications, so I can share my experience which service will fit where. So then you will get then you will think like, yeah, if you have to design any application, then you can think like, yeah, I can use this, where I can use SNS, where I can use lambda functions. Yeah, is it clear, guys? Okay, okay, perfect, perfect. Definitely, in every class, I will share my experience, like which application I have designed, which services I have used for which application, how we should choose which servers, how we can choose the region, and how we can choose the database. These are all the services, which is core services. We will uh, uh, learn by practical. I will explain my experience, and we will discuss like. What I have deployed, designed. So then you will get an understanding while designing the architecture. Okay, is it clear, guys? Why do we need to set up an AWS account? Perfect, perfect. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Can we create AWS account, or you guys are already created? How many of you have created or? Oh, okay, okay. I can see so many. I have. Perfect, perfect. Okay. How many of you don't have AWS account? Oh, great. I think Prakar is having around 8 to 10 AWS account. Great. Perfect. Perfect. If anyone is there who don't know how to go, who don't have any account on AWS, then only we will create the AWS account. What do you suggest, Shubham bhai? If one person is there who don't have. Mhm. I was having around 20 to 25 AWS accounts. And yeah, I don't know, but there was a glitch in AWS. If you use Plus, then you used to get a free credit for every Plus account. One of AWS customer support engineer told me that in I think 2017 or 16. But nowadays, if you use the Plus, then definitely they will identify this is your you already utilized. So nowadays, it is very uh, impossible. Yep, yep, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and don't enable auto pay. Exactly, exactly, exactly. Perfect. Yep. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Can we move on to the next slide, or can I explain what is root account, what is root user? If you guys know why do what is root user and why do we need IAM user, what is the IAM policies, then I can explain. Otherwise, we can move on to the next slide. Exactly. 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 Perfect. I can see that next slide. Great. Yeah. Let's move on to the next slide. I don't want like on a first day people should get bored. Yep, and AWS billing basics. So every time when you are learning and when you're working on a real project, you have to keep in your mind what is your billing, which service is utilizing a high cost, and whether this service really need it for your production or while learning also. Every time whenever do any practical at the end of the day or at the end of the year practice, make sure all the services get destroyed. Don't keep it enable. Shubham bhai, last time whenever we when we have live when we had a live on YouTube, that time I got around 1700 will I forgot to destroy. Next day I destroyed because that time we used load balancers and I think databases and everything. So I got 1700 for one day. No worries. Yeah. So every time you have to keep in your mind the billing dashboard should be configured, and then only you can understand like which service utilizing or which service is occurring the stuff. Other than this, we have to set a billing alarm whenever you create or whenever we start learning the practical. You should start the billing alerts. You can set the threshold like $5 or $10. Then whenever you reach $5, then you will get a notification. Then you can understand. Arey, yaar, I forgot to destroy one service, or you can go to the dashboards and see which service has a bill. So yeah, every you have to make sure that billing alarm is set, and I would suggest check billing alarm, billing dashboards frequently, because last time also I forgot to check the billing dashboards and I did not configure the billing alert, so that's why I got this $1,700, 1,700 rupees, Indian rupees. Yeah, that's it. That's it about the billing, and we will configure the billing. Can we configure the billing now? Oh, okay, Shubham bhai, I'm getting so many messages. Yes, we can configure the billing dashboards and we can configure the billing alerts. Rather than configuring the billing dashboards, we will quickly configure the billing alerts. So if you don't know how to configure, then you will get a uh, where is my screen? Sorry. Perfect. Let me pause this presentation and we'll start the billing alert. Okay. Great. What I'll do is I'll log in into my existing account. So though I haven't created the user, I am user. I thought I will create along with you guys, but in upcoming uh, class we will create the IAM user as well. So right now I will just log in with the root user. But the best practice is that don't use root account every day or for your day-to-day activities in any company. You will never get the root level access because this is very superpower user. Though you will get the admin rights, admin access for development account, for production also you will not get the full admin access. Whatever the required permissions, those access only you will get it. And root access is very strict. And make sure you should configure the MFA for your root account as well as your IAM user. MFA is like, guys, you know what is MFA? Did you configure MFA for your root account? Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. So let's say if I have created my account first time, so then I used to get this UI. So those are the recently visited services. Whenever you frequently visit the services, then automatically it will come up here. But if it is the first time, then you will not see this one. So you will see the this console, and you have to configure whatever the frequent access services. Then you can bookmark it here. Let's say if I have to launch any service or if I have to uh, create any service, then first of all I have to choose the region, which region I have to create the service. Let's say let's say if we are from India, then I'll choose the my nearest location, which is Mumbai. So make sure that you choose the correct region, because the billing the service the pricing is depends on the region also. Yeah, let's say now I have choose my region, and let's say if I have to launch an EC2 instance, so from where I can launch it, where I can search the EC2 instance service. So here is the search bar. So even I can search the EC2 instance over here. Also I can search it from here also. So here you will get all the available services in that specific region. Even you can bookmark here. And let's say if I have to launch an EC2 instance, I can go to the compute, and in the compute also, let's say if I have to launch an EC2 instance, so I can select the EC2 instance. Though there are other services also, but right now we don't need to learn. We have to just focus on AWS Solution Architect Associate. So whatever the services will come for the exam, only those services we will focus on it. Yeah, so we can go to the EC2 instance, and then here is the dashboard. Like let's say if I already have a lot of multiple EC2 instance launched, then I can see the running EC2 instance, and these are the types like dedicated host and how many key pairs which I have, how many security groups. So for and every service, you will get the detailed dashboards inside each service. So you can see that the all the sub services I can see it here. And let's say if I have to launch an EC2 instance, again I can go here, and either I can search it from here or I can search it from here. So here I can see it into the maybe networking. Though I have bookmarked here, I can search, I can click on the VPC, and for VPC also I can get similar dashboard. I can see my region, how many VPCs we have. So in each and every region, you will get one default VPC. So best practices is that don't use the default VPC and don't delete that VPC also. Why? Because you cannot customize this VPC and this default VPC. If you delete, maybe you'll face the internet connectivity issues for your custom VPC. So rather than deleting or rather than touching the existing default VPC, I would suggest create a VPC from the scratch, and you can see the all the created VPCs, how many subnets you have, route tables, all the services. You can see it here under the VPC. Is it clear, guys? If anyone is very first time seeing the AWS console, then yeah, this is how look like, and how we can use the services, and how we can see the dashboards, and how we can see the services. So if you read the theoretical, then you should not look and feel. If you can read the VPC, then you can just see VPC is like simple theoretical way. But if you create account and if you can go here, and then only you will get to know what is VPC, what I need it, what name I can give it, what is IPv4, what is IPv4 CIDR block. So there are so many options you can see while creating the while doing the practical, instead of reading the books. Is it clear, guys? Perfect, perfect. I can see so many yes. So that is the big difference between doing practical and reading the theoretical documents and seeing the videos on any of the platform. Perfect, perfect. So I would suggest everyone, if you haven't created the AWS account, you guys can create the AWS account. If anyone is not created, and see the how the console look like. Yeah, so now we will create the billing alarm. So I'll go here and then I'll create the billing alarm. Okay, I'll go here and then billing and cost optimization. I'll select it here. Perfect. Here also I can see the dashboard. So though we will not create the dashboard, we will just create the alerts, billing alerts. Uh, there is the option. Yeah. Oh, I think not this one. Where is the billing alerts? Okay. I was checking sometime back. Okay. Yeah, I was checking. Not getting that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Correct, correct. Exactly, exactly. Budgets and cost optimization. Okay, I think here we can get it budgets and yeah. Okay, I think budget alarm or something was there. I was checking. Maybe. Okay. Yeah. I had configured like from the billing only. I used to configure, but yeah. Let's see. Then alarm, and here from here we can configure the alarm, and then alarms, and then search here. Yeah. Even I used to configure. Maybe they keep changing their UI. Concerts. Okay. I think bills, payment cost, budget. Create budget. Oh, sorry. Here only we can see create budget and then customize, and then usage budget. Then next one, and we have to select the budget name. Let's say I will use daily daily spending, and usage type I will select. Okay, then this I'll select the. Okay, this is budget. Basically, we have to set the budget. Let's say my EC2 instance, how much I can spend on my EC2 instance. So this is the budget. I can, though, let's say if my EC2 instance running and I forgot to delete, and I have created the budget for this. So whenever I cross my budget, let's say I have created the $5 budget, and whenever this cross, then I will get the notification. Let's say for EBS volume, and then for daily, I can choose budget, and then enter budget amount. Let's say I'll choose, I'll select the whether it's Indian rupees or dollar. I'll select 5, and then all services, and then I'll create the next one. So that's how you can create the budget. So whenever you cross the budget for your service, then you will get the notification. Also, you can set the budget for your whole account also. Yeah, so this is the budget alarm. Is it clear, guys? Okay. Perfect. Okay, can we move on to the slide again? Mhm. Yes. Yeah, and we have selected the service. Like let's say for now I have selected the EBS volume. For EBS volume, I have set the budget. But similarly, you can set the budget for your whole account as well. Yeah, billing and cost management, and then I have selected a budget over here. This one. Then created a budget. Yeah, then clicked on the create budget, and then here you will get the billing view also. And then here there are two options, whether you can use the template, or you can use the customized and then advanced one. So you can select as per your requirement or as per your use case. And then here there are a lot of options, like what will be the budget type. So monitor your cost against a specified dollar amount to receive alerts whenever user defined a threshold are made. So there are different types, whether you have to set the budget for only specific service or for your account or for your region. So these are the types you can select as per your requirement. Yeah, and there are the reserved budget also. There are some services which is you can set the budget for these also. Yep. Yeah, yeah. So that's how we have created the budget, and then we have selected we have given the name, and then period like monthly, quarterly, annually, and then custom, and then budget renewal type also we have to select when it should be renewed. Like you have to select the month, and then whether it should be fixed or planned or auto adjusted. So these are the types we have to configure. And here at the amount, what will be your budget amount, you can configure, update it here. And then scope for all services, this I was talking, whether you need to create budget for all the AWS services or you have to filter out the services. If you select the all service, then you will get the notification whenever you cross the threshold for your AWS account. But if you filter out, then only for those services cross, then only you will get the notification. Perfect. Is it clear, guys? So for creating the budgets and creating the policies, IAM roles, AWS won't charge for you. So yeah, perfect, perfect. Is it clear? Clear, Shubham bhai? Can we move on to the next slide? Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Because AWS questions in exam will be like, what I can say, will be like totally based on the full architecture of the application, and as well as the what are the like AWS services will provide, what are the availability zone, how many availability zone, and you have to think let's say if AWS asks us like my user base will be from from this region, and which region you will choose, why you choose which this region. So these are the stuffs we have to think while attending the exam. So before attending the exam, sorry. So then only you can answer it properly. Okay, great. Let's move on to the next slide, guys. Yeah, this is the root user versus IAM user. Why do we need a IAM user instead of root user? Why should we not use the root user? Because I already cleared, root user is very powerful user, and this is initial first user which will register with the Amazon, and it will be like it is very powerful user, and you don't share the root user credential with your team or any one of them. So this will be like power user. If root user compromised, then your AWS account will be compromised. So instead of that, we should use IAM user for our daily use, and in real companies also, you'll never get root user credential, or you'll never get the root user permission as well. So though IAM user will get the admin permission, but that is also a limited. will not get like a super user permission. So root user can delete the AWS account, but IAM user cannot delete the AWS account. So that is the most big difference between root user and IAM user. Is it clear, guys? With the IAM user, you get the admin permission, but IAM user cannot delete the account, but root user can delete the account. Perfect. And make sure for your root user, you should configure the 2-layer of the authentication, the security. For that, AWS, whenever you create the AWS account, at the first time, AWS will ask you to create the MFA. So MFA you can configure with the any authenticator app. So whenever you try to log in, once you configure the authenticate MFA, then whenever you log in into the AWS account, you have to authenticate 2 ways. First, you have to log in with your password, username, password, and then you have to enter the authentication code. Let's say if your root user get compromised, or you have shared by mistakenly, or by mistakenly someone stolen your username, password, root username, password. But if you have configured the MFA, then no one can log in with the root user, because you have configured the MFA on your mobile device. So that is most important, that you have to configure the MFA for your root user as well as your IAM user also. So in each and in every company, for IAM user, you have to configure the authenticator. So though company manages their OU and the control through the control tower, but yeah, it is best practice to configure the IAM user for practice purpose, and then MFA on that IAM user. Is it clear, guys? All right. Perfect. I can see. Yeah, so many clears. All right. Can we move on to the next slide? Perfect. I can see yes. Let's move on to the next slide. I think people are thinking like it's too much theoretical, but yeah, this is the first day. I don't want to directly jump onto the practical. Instead of that, I want everyone should have their foundation clear. Then only we should move on to the practical and do a hands-on. Is it clear, guys? Okay. Perfect. And then most important is like you have to keep in your mind AWS well architected 6-pillar. So this I was not aware until I do 1 year of practical, but I was not aware also. But now in first day I am explaining you what are the 6 pillars, which will be like well architected 6-pillar, which is AWS has it. So AWS has 6-pillar architect. Whenever you have to design any solution, any architect on AWS, you have to think, or you have to keep in your mind all these 6 pillars: operational excellence, security, reliability, performance efficiency, cost optimization, and sustainability. Can we go into the detail, or can we see while we are doing the practical exam what is operational excellence, or what is security, what is reliability? While configuring the auto scaling, we can see the reliability and performance efficiency, and though we have see the cost optimization. So we have to choose when we have to choose which server, that we can explain while doing the cost hands-on demo on choosing the EC2 instance. So I can explain the cost optimization that time, and then sustainability, what is sustainability, and what is the use, and we can see while doing the live demo. Then only you can understand this 6-pillar. If I can explain this 6-pillar now, then it would be difficult. But while doing the demo, it would be like perfectly understand in your mind. Is it clear, guys? But all the exam will be based on this 6-pillar. Not exam, but whenever you have to design any architecture, then you have to keep all the 6 pillars in. Let's say you have to think about the cost optimization, whether when you have to also you have to think whether my application should be highly available or not, and how much, whether my application needs to be available 24/7 or not, and we have to choose the proper region, we have to choose the proper infrastructure, like server types, and then you have to what do you say think about the reliability, how my application should be reliable to the customer, to the end user. So these are the points which we have to keep in our mind while designing the architecture. That we will see in each and every demo while learning the practical. Is it clear, guys? At the first day, I don't want to do all the theoretical on you, so instead of that, I just give points, and then while learning or while doing the practical, we will explain each and every pillar, because this is the most important well architected six pillar for designing and certification purposes. Okay, is it clear, guys? Perfect. All right, we can move on to the next slide. Okay, I think slide is done. Yeah, this is the last one. Well, architecture six pillars. I think we are almost done, and then we have 6 minutes left. Is it clear, guys, what we have learned and what we have covered for today's quiz? Shubham bhai, quiz. Can we move on to the quiz, or how? What we can do next? I have a few quiz in my mind, but let's. Are we clear? Okay, perfect. Okay, 1 hour. Yeah, please. I'm stopping my sharing.
Our main goal is not to directly jump into practical. So what we saw today was billing, console, we saw practical as well. But before that, for 1 hour, we saw why AWS. Then if you are picking AWS, then what is the right way? How would I start learning AWS? Because I'll tell you what happens. Generally, you hear from someone saying that, hey, do AWS certification, you'll get a job. Do this, you'll get a job. But then, as an engineer, what is security? What is cloud? How does infrastructure as service work? What is platform as a service? These terms, if you know in your mind, and then you keep your mindset that, okay, I have to use this platform to build something for my customers, for my end users, and for that you need XYZ services. For compute, you need this. If I want to store something, you need this. If I want to do something securely, I need a well architected framework, pillars. So that is very important. So I think, Gangadhar, you gave the entire roadmap that way, because I'm pretty sure many learners were expecting that, hey, show practical, show industry ready. That will come. That's a 10-week course, which means for the next 3 months you will be learning these only. But it's always good to start slow. And because of starting slow, I have a small surprise for everyone. How many of you are here since last 2 hours and uh, were noting down everything? So, for example, I asked them if they have made notes, and everyone shared handwritten notes and everything. But the thing is, when you learn something and you keep it to yourself, first, you will never revise that. Second, you will not get accountability. For example, today you will attend and tomorrow you will say, I'll watch the recordings. or I'll see it next week. You lose on accountability. And third, you're not sharing what you're doing in public. So I want to share something very interesting with everyone. Let's do this. I am sharing a brand new, even Gangadhar doesn't know this. How many of you are ready? Presenting 10 weeks of AWS challenge which starts today. Drop a boom in the chat. 10 weeks of AWS challenge. So, you will learn AWS the way you will actually use it. 1 week at a time and in public. Imagine what you learned today was just 2 hours. What you'll learn tomorrow will be again 2 hours. But then someone will forget. Someone will say, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll watch it from recording and so on. But that's not the way you should learn it. So Cloud Aadhar, Gangadhar, Train with Shubham, we are bringing this community challenge for 10 weeks. Before I start the challenge, how many of you are ready? How many of you are ready to take this challenge? Because this requires dedication. For example, you are here to clear AWS Solutions Architect Associate, and not just clear it, you are here to actually think and become an architect. That's why we have this course for you. Now, how does this each week work? There will be theory sections and concepts. There will be hands-on labs. There will be domain mapping with your exam. For example, if someone is giving an exam, AWS SAA, that question will be mapped with one of the challenges that is given here. And best part, you will learn in public. So whenever you start learning, whenever you are learning something, you are sharing it in LinkedIn. Now there are recruiters who want these AWS certified people. How many of you in the last 3 months or 6 months have posted on LinkedIn and have seen benefit of LinkedIn because they might have got a inbound message request saying that great work, are you open to this role? Now imagine the same thing with a deeper and more experienced material from Gangadhar and this challenge from my side. So, how many of you are ready? Let me know. I will just copy this link and share it in the chat. Okay, I can see Mohammed. Thanks. Okay, ready. Superb. This is amazing. This is great. Awesome. So I've given you the 10-week roadmap. So for example, today we learned about cloud foundations. Tomorrow we might start IAM users group policies and so on. That week you have to do this particular challenge. For example, week 1 challenge, Cloud Foundation IAM users. By the end of the week, you should be able to explain AWS global infrastructure. What is region, availability zone, edge location? Now, the trick part. How many of you took notes when Gangadhar was explaining global infrastructure? Let me know in the chat. How many of you took note when Gangadhar was explaining global infrastructure? So basically, if you took notes, you have already completed week 1 first task. Isn't this crazy that in the lecture itself, you are learning, you are writing, you are doing, and you are completing these tasks? How many of you find it helpful? Just drop helpful in the chat. Because this way you are preparing as well for your exam. You are learning from the industry expert. 12 years of experience in this domain. He knows what all production issues happen. He has cleared these exams. So it's a shared responsibility model. Gangadhar is here to teach you. You are here to do this challenge. And with both of these efforts, collectively, let's crack AWS. Just drop a crack in the chat if you are taking this 10-week challenge, and I want everyone to take this challenge because this is very, very important. If you don't do hands on, you're anyways gone. If you don't learn theory, you will never clear the exam. So it's a very mix and match of your hard work and the expertise from this course. So, how to take this challenge? Just go here, and I have this link called how to take part. I'll just copy this link. I'll just turn off the chat for a minute. Okay, so that I can paste this particular link. Okay, I'll just copy this and then I will pin this. Now what you have to do, first star and fork this repository so that you always get the plan, and every time Gangadhar finishes a week, he will upload the next week. So for today's session, this was a surprise, that a bonus, that week one session, week one task is already uploaded. But next week, week 2 task will be uploaded. Then next week 3 task will be uploaded. And that's how, can anyone guess how many weeks of task you will be getting? That's what is written. Okay. Superb. Nice. And if you remember, Gangadhar has posted about one secret private repository in which he has posted all his knowledge, all his experience. Right? So every week, one by one, he will be sharing you a PDF as well. How many of you got the PDF in your course? Just drop a PDF in the chat if you have got it. Okay, you have got it. Great. Superb. Amazing. Nice. So Partha says no. It simply means Partha did not open the course. That's why they did not get. If because others are writing, it simply means they got it. And you are not so special that we won't send it to you. Okay? Superb. Now imagine you have a 10-week roadmap. You know in which lecture what will be covered. You know in which domain is covered. You have the live trainer. You have the quizzes. You have everything with you. What is stopping you to become excellent at AWS? Let's go. Let's do this. And many people have the live version. So if you are watching this live, this is our course. You can join live. And obviously you all are live. So how many of you are finally feeling amazed? This was the first introduction and welcome session. Superb. Great. Now everything takes time. First session, you will absorb. Second session, you will start building. Second week, you will start exploring. So do take this challenge and start with week 1. That's it from my side. I hope you all loved my surprise. Over to you, Gangadhar.
Yeah, I haven't explained like exam topics and what will be covered, what percentage. Because at the first day, if I can explain which part will be covered percentage-wise, then people will get confused. Like
Exactly.
I have to learn 30% is because we are starting from zero. That's why I haven't explained.
That's good. That's good. So first day, it's always, so whenever I do anything, so first day is always good to start. It's always good to just start. That's my funda. That first start. Then
If I would have explained like what AWS has given 30% for this, 24% this, 18%, then people will get confused. So that's why I haven't explained like how many percentage will be for security and then costing. So first we will learn the services, and while learning we will explain. So this will come for under the 30%, this will come under the 24%, 18%. Yeah.
Yeah, even AWS gives this PDF of syllabus, which is
Yeah.
asked in these. So, anyways, how confident are you that we will be covering 100% of the PDF syllabus, or how are we planning?
We will cover more than 100%.
Wow.
Because because in AWS there will be like there is a like generic architecture. But on top of that, like whatever the advanced level architecture which I have designed, so for people it will help for their next level exam as well. If they want to prepare for professional level certification, then there will be like touch for the professional level certification services as well, because I did my professional level certification also, and then I'm learning this, I'm planning for security certification. So you will get a lot of knowledge from me, not only associate level exam, but whenever when your fundamental completes and when we are starting doing practical while learning EC2 instance, I'll explain each and every detail which will helpful for your associate level as well as your professional level also.
Superb. That this is amazing. And uh,
Yeah.
let's start from such a way that they will get the professional associate as well, but treat them as a CCP, cloud practitioner. That's
Yeah.
yeah, that's the best part. So I can see the feedback. For example, Mohammed Khalid Khan says, "You guys great. I love you guys. Thanks a lot."
Thanks.
Now we have both in single course, Shaktiman and Gangadhar. I think we should be ready with that joke. Okay?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, more than 500 times I heard in everywhere, in every company, in every circle, people used to call me, "Arey Gangadhar to Shaktiman." Because sometimes I
Super.
looks like Gangadhar, so I
This
wear
is
the spec.
amazing. So, will we have a quiz as well today? Or we can have it tomorrow because I think it's time. We can as per your.
I think it's 10:10. Depends on the audience, like how what they want.
Superb
Just
today.
mixed tomorrow,
Superb.
today,
So, do
tomorrow
you have a
quiz.
quiz ready for us?
I think I have. Let me
Superb.
check.
Let's go.
Okay.
If you have, you can share your screen. The stage is all yours, and we are all eager to learn a lot.
Okay. Can I post the quiz in the chats and then
That would
I'll
be
post
great.
the options?
That would be great. You can share your screen and then maybe keep the chat screen on a different screen, and then we can have some.
Perfect. 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 Let me share my screen. Let me move this down to the. Allow me a second. Perfect. Okay. Share my screen. Okay. So I have 5 quiz. The first is companies want to improve availability of web application in one region. What is the first step? Use a larger EC2 instance. Option B, deploy across multiple. Oh, before it's great. Before reading an option, I am getting so many responses. Awesome, awesome. Oh, it's almost 100% B. Can we see the answer? Let's. Oh, awesome. Before reading a question and reading the option, I got so many response for B. Great. To maintain a high availability within the region, start spreading across multiple availability zone. Size and pricing don't add availability. Great, great. Yeah, awesome. The next question is under the shared responsibility model, which is the customer responsibility. Option A, physical data center and security, patching the EC2. Oh, should I read the options or I can see so many B, 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 B. Great, great, great. Let's see the answer. Customers handle security in the cloud and guest OS app data. I am AWS handles of the cloud. Perfect. Patching the EC2 instance on guest OS. That is the customer responsibility. Great, great. Perfect. Rest all will be taken care by the AWS. Perfect. Though we have not yet covered like the six pillar, but let me ask the question: which pillar focus on using managed services and serverless to reduce the impact? Yeah, because we have not covered, so that's why I'm getting mixed answer. B, C, D. Intentionally, I've not covered entire six pillar at the first day. We will go one by one. But let's see. It is mixed answer. Not sure because we have not covered all the six pillars at the first day. Perfect. Sustainability, sixth pillar. Emphasize miss. Okay, okay. Now I'm getting 4B. Okay, great. So we can skip this question because we have not covered this question, this sixth pillar. And okay, so this is also we have not covered. But let me ask, like, how many passing score required for associate level C03? Okay, again it is mixed because we are not covered at first day. I don't want to do a lot of surprises or a lot of pressure on the learner, so that's why I have not covered. But I thought first we should learn the services rather than totally a certification mindset. I want everyone should be like architect mindset, not only certification. If you guys don't think that I am preparing for certificate, I would suggest you think like you are preparing for future architect. Then only you can learn all the services. But if you think that you just need to clear the certification, then it will be like limited scope. I would suggest rather than if you think that you want to become a architect, then you learn so many things, so many services, not only associate related but for professional and for security related also. Definitely, I am in plan how we can share this repository. Though we Shubham bhai has created another repository, maybe we will move one by one into that repository. We'll think, we'll see like how we can. Yeah, so I think the only two three questions is useful. But let's see. A startup want the lowest cost experiment for 12 months. What do you recommend? Dedicated host, AWS free tier, reserved. Oh yeah, this is a little bit advanced question. Shubham, I mean, I think this question was tough for everyone. But let's see the answer. I'm getting the mixed answer because this is also not yet covered. The answer is B. If any startup want to start, let's say if I have just registered my company and I have PAN card and everything, and if I have to launch my application on any cloud, not specific on AWS, but if you register onto the startup funding, so maximum cloud providers, let's say AWS, Azure, GCP, they give the credits for the startups. Like AWS gives, I think. 10 to 20,000 dollars free credits for the startup as a funding. And if you prove your application, if you implement or if you deploy your POC or if you deploy your application and if you got the kind of funding for your startup, then then AWS will charge for you. But you can use this 10 to 20,000 dollar funding credits for your building your application. Yeah, what is the answer Q4? Yeah, sorry. For passing the C03 exam, you need to have 720 marks out of 1000, and it will be like 60 questions. That we will see it later, but first we will focus on learning the services and learning the architecture. Yeah, that's the quiz from my end. Is it clear, guys? Perfect, perfect. All right, I'm stopping my screen, Shubham bhai.
to know. Amazing. Also, generally I use Mentimeter, but I think this is a very effective way of taking a quiz as well. That's how uh, a lot of chat is also engaged, and you get the questions as well. And whenever this quiz is over, maybe you can just take that .md file of from GitHub, make a PDF, and share it with these people as well.
Perfectly fine.
This this is a very
So
cool
you can
idea. I
collect the
should use
question
that too.
bank. You can collect the question bank, and at the end of this course, you will get so many questions.
Wow, wow. See, I if I was joining this session from zero, I would have taken a lot of value. Let's hear it from our learners. What do they say? How has your journey been today? Superb. Not just the quiz MD file, all the file we want. All we can't give. We have to teach you. Then we have to do, and you have to build that file. My funda is very clear. If whatever our knowledge is reaching to you, you should be capable enough to create those notes, because these notes are private. But after every session, I'm pretty sure Gangadhar is sharing that PDF, and it's uploaded as well. I got a notification that one
Yeah,
item
yeah.
uploaded. Let me check. I went to my course. I went to library. I went my AWS course, and I went to AWS fundamentals, and there is a PDF. Today's learning focus. Oh wow, this is amazing. This one, right?
Yeah, yeah, correct.
Amazing work, Gangadhar. This is so helpful. So all my notes are also with me. Quiz is also with me. Learning is also with me. Live classes also, recording also. Everything in
Uh,
one place. Amazing.
yeah. One more surprise. What we can do is, whenever we learn any service, let's say if we are learning in VPC, we'll try to create an architecture diagram in one of the so then you can think like because in corporate or in every company, if let's say if you get a chance or if you get a request that you have to design an architecture, then you should know which tool I should use and how I can think. First you have to think in your mind, then you have to write down on the paper, and then only you can prepare the build the architecture or design the architecture. Which service should be deployed where, and which service should I choose, where should I host, create my subnet, private subnet, public subnet, where should I create my NAT gateway, internet gateway, route table. So we'll try to build live. Then as a hands-on, you guys also can, because there are free software or free application also where you can create design the architecture.
I love this idea.
Not
I love
simply
this.
learn the services and will not simply do the hands-on, but apart from that, this is more than AWS certification. I'll teach you how we can design the architecture.
Great. And generally, the classes would be how long? The duration?
uh, 8 to 10, but I think we have crossed 22 minutes more.
That's fine. Today we did a lot of new learning. Plus, I was disturbing a lot in the middle, so maybe that's why I took some time. But
Yeah.
I think it's great. And anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
Again, tomorrow we will see. We will. I don't discuss the topic what we are going to cover tomorrow. But yeah, soon before 1 or 2 hour before, I will share the notes to you guys.
That's great. That's great. Superb.
But tomorrow definitely we'll do a practical. We'll start with the practical. Will reduce the theoretical part, because whatever theoretical part which I have to cover, that we have already covered. Because that is the main foundation. If you don't know how many regions and how many availability zone, then you cannot create it, right?
Great.
But yeah, we will see.
Just wanted to understand how many of you are joining outside India. Just let me know in the chat which country are you joining outside India. So, what does that mean? Anyone who is from India,
Germany,
Germany,
Dubai,
UK.
UAE, USA,
Okay.
Canada,
So ask them
Pakistan.
how many of you are joining outside India. So we get Germany, UK, Dubai, Pakistan, UAE, USA, Chicago, Canada, Pakistan. This is amazing. Truly go global. Superb.
Great, great. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Superb. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Gangadhar. And I'm super excited for what's next. It's an amazing start. And I wish you and all our learners all the best. So amazing, amazing work.
Thank you, thank you.
Superb. So thanks a lot for watching till here. I will see you all in the next session, ending the stream in 3, 2, 1. Bye.